Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes, and welcome back to the YoVideogames podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And once again, thank you to all our generous patrons who kept us going for over 350 episodes. I'm not going to be able to say I have to move on to 400 soon.
I think we're 391. Today is 391. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames podcast. Dude of the week is Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. You've been with us for a little while, and you got no other names on your account, so I can't be more specific than Daniel. But you know who you are, and thank you very much. We also have a sponsor to thank. Of course, we're talking about sweet-ass Manscaped, and this is their latest favorite product, the Beard Hedger Pro. We've got a few things that we love about this thing. The battery life, it looks cool. It's water-resistant, although I wouldn't take this one into the shower. And, of course, the guard adjusts on the fly with a wheel in 0.5 millimeter increments, which means you can get a clean fade from your sideburn into the side of your head if you're follically challenged like me and you need to clean it up there so it doesn't look like a hard line between beard and head.
And if you thought, well, you know, people probably think Manscaped. They probably think, you know,
balls only,
right? No, they've branched out from trimming your tree to trimming your beard now. So yeah, now they're covering everything from, you know, tip to taint,
crown to crotch,
but it's like, yeah, not only do they, I mean, there's trimming the beard, they have trimming your hedge. They also have the ultra smooth pack, if you're interested. I believe that, you know, that's what it was called. It's
and one thing that's really great about that is that it is built for travel. The ultra smooth package can kind of go anywhere with you. I keep most of their products in my gym bag.
I've been actually a big fan of their shampoo recently. I know that doesn't do much for you, but
yeah. Well, it
shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. So, and it does last a good while. So,
and if you're interested in the scent profile, you know, for those of you that like to keep a similar scent profile head to toe, all of their products are complementary scents, so you can use all of their products, and it'll keep similar kind of very manly, like earthy scent tone.
I would say sort of like eucalyptus-y, fresh.
Yeah.
You know,
another thing to love is their deodorant, which also matches their scent profile, is a non-residue leaving. So if you're wearing a lot of business shirts, it doesn't leave any residue in your shirts, which is...
that shit gets me all the time.
Yeah. But if you're interested in checking out any of their products, please head over to manscaped.com. Use our code YoVG, all caps, for 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's code YoVG, all caps, at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping worldwide. Your balls will thank you. And so will your armpits. I didn't even talk about that part.
That's right. Yeah, you were saying you use a lawnmower or the beard hedger on your armpits.
I use the beard hedger because I like the guard more.
But you can use armpit hair gets pretty tough depending on the man.
But I especially in the summer months will trim my armpit hair because I sweat way less and I don't get as smelly in the gym. And that's pretty nice. All my bodybuilding friends out there, they know. A lot of them shave everything. I don't shave, but trimming is real nice.
Since we're not in this part of it, did you ever, like, when you looked at the smooth criminal package or whatever, I forget,
the ultra smooth,
smooth, like, I looked at it and I went like,
I don't know how much we want to learn about each other today, but have I tried it? Yes.
Yeah, you did. I couldn't do it. I couldn't muster the courage. I was like, oh,
it's a little scary.
It's so scary.
It's a little shady. But it does work, and it is actually pretty nice.
Right. So that's what your weekend job is.
Yeah,
you
that's all I do. I just
gotta keep up appearances for the camera.
Yeah, well, what I like to do is keep a happy trail, and then immediately there it just stops.
It just stops.
It's just Like from the waist down, it is smooth.
God, I've said this before. I always get so upset because when I go to my dentist, which if I'm late on that one, they'll always, every time they're working on me, they're like, yeah, you have a really bad gag reflex. I'm like, yeah, I know. It like murders me at my second job, my weekend job, and they never laugh. They never
Assholes.
laugh. No
You're
one's
going to the
ever
wrong
laughed.
dentist.
I've said it to multiple dentists. They never laugh about
I
that.
have like a hyper Christian dental hygienist. Like she's super. I mean, she's like I think she's a new grandmother and just like loves Jesus and like will evangelize just a little bit while she's got you trapped there. You know, talking about the glories of going to church. And I think I'm gonna have to use that now. I have a great gag reflex. So.
Yeah, I noticed. Ah.
Yee. Speaking of things that suck, exclusivity
Oh
is our topic
yeah.
today.
Damn. Nice transition.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, this came up sort of recently with which was hilarious because it's always funny to me when you get people who come out of the woodwork to fucking dick ride and defend a mega corporation. This case being Square Enix, because Imran Khan, who has been in the industry for decades, former editor-in-chief of Game Informer magazine, the largest gaming publication there ever was, basically said internally they're slightly freaked out over the pre-order numbers for Final Fantasy 16 because they're pretty low. They're really behind 15. Now, Final Fantasy 15, for reference, sold 5 million copies day one on PS4 and Xbox. And then over its lifetime, like after was 6 years, I think. 4 or 6 years, it sold 10 million copies.
Wow.
And after about 4 months after being and so jump ahead a few years, Final Fantasy 7 Remake comes out. It's initially exclusive, just PS4. Initially, within the first year, I believe it sold 5 million copies, and it never got updated after that. So,
wow.
So here's the thing, and here's where a lot of company dick riding comes out in, is that, well, the Final Fantasy 15 number was after many years. It sold 10 million, being one of the best selling Final Fantasies ever. They only told us within the first year of Final Fantasy 7 Remake, to which I would always argue, like, there's nothing a fucking company loves more than to make a PR statement how many more millions of copies they sold.
Right.
So
for them to not make a statement is a statement.
Yeah, for them to never update that number
Right.
is pretty weird. And then it was kind of funny because someone even tried to argue with me about the fact, like, Xbox didn't even matter much. So I'm like, it only counted for 20% of Final Fantasy 15 sales. I'm like, 20% of 10 million is 2 million. Like, what?
And that's Xbox isn't a very big market right now because
No, it's not. But it's like, if you sold 20% of 10 million, that's still a lot of fucking copies. So the point really here is that, like, this was a brand, Final Fantasy 15, which was, for all intents and purposes, practically a new IP, because every new numbered entry is a whole new thing, right? Final Fantasy 7 Remake. 7 Remake did not sell as much day one. It did not sell as much in 6 weeks as Final Fantasy 15 did.
Isn't there, like, there's a thing with remakes do quite a bit better than the originals usually.
Our Resident Evil 2 Remake has sold more than Resident Evil 2 Original. Resident Evil 1 Remake has sold more than Resident Evil 1 Original. Like,
just by nature of the fact that the gaming community and the customer base is 10 times as big as it was when these games came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and by 2020, a lot more people were playing video games than in 1997.
Right.
So they're really, I mean, it's weird to see the mental gymnastics people online, were going through on this, but it's like, point of the matter is, Final Fantasy 7 Remake was an exclusive for about 16 months on PS4, and then it was an Epic Game Store exclusive for about another year. And then finally came to Steam, never came to Xbox. So they had a very long exclusivity window
Which
between
is
the
de facto exclusivity. That
yeah,
first year matters a whole hell of a lot.
of course, yeah. Like
Yeah.
as many people come out, industry people who are in the industry will tell you most games make most of their money in the first month.
Right.
So Final Fantasy 7 Remake was exclusive, 15 was not. 15 has sold more copies than 7 Remake did in their lifetime, according to the numbers Square brings. Which brings me to the ultimate point of Final Fantasy 16 being a hard console exclusive, no PC version or anything, just PS5 only, Final Fantasy 16. And the numbers for pre order are not looking, they didn't say catastrophic, they just said slightly panicked. Like,
Right.
shit, like this isn't selling out as fast as we thought it would sell. Or the pre-orders weren't the numbers were not catching up as much as they thought they would by now.
So the way they determine, a third party company, the way it determines whether or not it wants to go exclusive, my understanding of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is basically they'll do like a general calculation of what they think they would make if they came out everywhere, and
Yeah.
they'll negotiate to try and get some money from the console, Sony, whoever the first party is, to try and, like, at the very least get that or whatever, whichever one seems like it's going to make them the most money, obviously.
Yeah.
It makes me sort of wonder how much money is Sony paying to get these games. Maybe what they're
Right.
doing is, instead of paying them directly, instead of paying them hard currency, they're being like, we'll take less of a cut from the store. Maybe that's why the numbers.
Some have kind of twisted some of Yoshi P's, the producer's words, into being that Sony co-developed the game. It was not a co-development. It was basically like, oh, they helped us. The Sony engineers helped us,
Optimize for
teaching us
PlayStation.
optimization. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably sent over some design docs,
Right.
or whatever. Like that's not day-to-day development. That's just like
Super normal. Fucking Epic sends Unreal engineers to help you. Like, they send actual people over to help you figure it out.
yeah. So that's a little bit. See, Discovery's coming in the FTC lawsuit with Microsoft and Sony over the Activision deal, and we might actually know by the end of next month how much Sony did pay for Final Fantasy 16's exclusivity. We can
I hope
tell.
it's absurd.
Well, the thing is, it has to be to justify this, because here's the crazy thing. We saw literally from the Capcom leak, we saw what exclusivity, they paid, there was something with one of the Resident Evils for some sort of exclusive mode or something. They paid like $5 million for it. That was it, right? And then, like, I think Monster Hunter Rise, Nintendo paid $15 million for a year of exclusivity on Switch before PC. And something else. I think RE7 VR was like $5 to $15 million or something like that, to that effect. So we're talking in that range here. So those are actual, honest to God numbers that we should not have known, but we did know. So let's highball it, right? Let's highball. Let's say Sony gave them $30 million for Final Fantasy 16's exclusivity.
A prestige game, a flagship.
Right.
Usually, it's
Now,
almost always flagship.
Now let's go back to those numbers from 15 and look at, like, the shortfall, right? Oh, the pre-order and then the numbers are worse than they were for 15, right? And if we look at what that did and we look at what 7 Remake did, let's just look at the fact that, let's just go back to that 10 million number, right? And go back to 20% of it was on Xbox.
Yeah.
20% of 10 million is 2 million copies.
Right.
2 million copies sold at $70. It's $140 million. You take 30% off of that, just for, like, manufacturing, distribution, all the other bullshit, right? And you're still looking at, like, close to like $90 to $100 million of loss over time for being exclusive. And this is where I'm like, unless Sony paid them $90 to $100 million, which there's no fucking way Sony would have done that, because that's the cost of, like, a Rockstar size, or like a Spider-Man, or maybe even a God of War $100 million is a fucking ungodly amount of money.
Well, how
Like,
much money
you could make like 5 games with that money.
And I mean, when you talk about how much it takes, you know, to develop these days, right? A AAA game costs
Yeah.
5 times as much as what it did
Mhm.
15 years ago. You know, they're talking like we've seen numbers on how much a AAA game costs to make now.
It keeps going up. Someone was saying that like GTA 6 might cost $2 billion. I'm like, that's not its budget. Like
That's insane.
no, I don't think it costs $2 billion. If it did cost $2 billion, then there's like absolutely something wrong with management at Rockstar.
Right.
If they spend even if they spend $1 billion on it, I'm like, oh, it costs more than anything. It costs more than the most expensive movie ever did. And no, okay, no.
No. But it is something that like whenever people talk about the numbers of profit too, is like they forget how much it costs to make a game. Like the profit margins on games, while great, while better than it's ever been, is not nearly as like 1-to-1, like that $140 million. Yeah, 30% is what platforms charge to sell it on their
Yeah.
stores. Then how much of what's left over goes to the costs of the next game, or recouping the costs of what it was to make that game.
Yeah.
So you're really talking about if they got $30 million for exclusivity.
And that's just keeping it off Xbox. Keeping it off PC for a whole nother year is a whole nother tens and tens of millions of dollars they're losing out on day one.
Yeah, that's wild. I really don't see how it makes any sense anymore.
How much money was Sony possibly offering for this money hat?
Well, you know what it is. If you're the business owner, 30 million guaranteed, and I know we keep using that number and we don't know that that's the number, but 30 million guaranteed right away versus the possibility of 50 million over a certain amount of time is I think it's I could see the calculus. I could see why you would go, hey, I'm going to take the 30 million. But when it's Final Fantasy 16, like, are you really betting? Like, Final Fantasy 16 is as close to a guaranteed hit as you can get. Like, it's not like it's not like Redfall, where like,
Yeah.
I'm
Well, and,
definitely
and
going to take that
here's
money.
here's another thing that I think pisses people off because and it's like I am a fan of the genre, but the Japanese RPG genre subgenre, it isn't a system seller. It used
Right.
to be. It was on PlayStation 1. It was on PlayStation 2. But ever since PS3 onward, most people do not buy a console because of a RPG, like a JRPG. Even Final Fantasy. Most people just don't buy whole consoles for that anymore. It just hasn't been the thing you buy a system for. Because if you remember back in the late 90s, it's like you think, what does PlayStation have? Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid, Gran Turismo, and then PS2 was like it has Grand Theft Auto 3, Metal Gear Solid,
Well, I
maybe
think
Final Fantasy 10, maybe, but then
that
it
has
starts
something to
branching
do
off on
with
the other
like
stuff.
today's prestige titles are all like sequels. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a lot of the drive back then that made those JRPGs and stuff, they were sequels.
To be fair, it was Final Fantasy 7.
Right. Yeah. But what I mean though is like it was sequels, but there wasn't a lot of long running series.
No,
You know what I mean? Like,
and we had only gotten 3 Final Fantasies at that point, and they were fairly low key releases. Like it pretty much was a new game
yeah.
for all intents. It was a new experience.
Yeah. I don't know if you can say that it's like the Final Fantasy prestige has run out because I still
Not so much prestige, but like here's the thing.
look,
Because
Sakaguchi rubbed a lot of the shine off with Spirits Within.
yeah,
He did. But,
I think if we want to take a fair, because you were around, I was around, we were around for Final Fantasy's explosion of popularity in the West, and we've kind of seen it. It hasn't gone away. Here's the thing. Here's what I would argue more than anything. I would say it's somewhat failed to draw in an expanded audience as the game industry expanded. Because there were so many less people playing video games, but 7 did the thing where it drew a bunch of new people in to the genre with Final Fantasy 7. However, being that Final Fantasy is the way it is, 8 comes out and a lot of people are like, where the fuck is Cloud, right? You know, they're like, oh, it's a whole new cast and world. Okay. And then 9 comes out and it's all a bunch of weird little chibi people and people really don't like it. And then all the old school fans are like, yay. And all the new school fans are like, eh. And then 10 comes out and 10 is kind of like another 7. It came out early in the PS2's life. It was very pretty, very cinematic, draws a new crowd in with a lot of the same crowd that had come in from 7. Then 11 comes out and it's a fucking MMO. And that's where you lose some people, right? A little. Like 11's very profitable. 11's profitable, but like the main
and very popular.
And I'm not talking about I'm talking about like the mainstream Joe Blow, Joe 6-pack audience. 12 takes forever to come out. Comes out like a month before the PS3. Obviously doesn't really blow up. 13 then comes out later and it fucking sucks. Definitely not bringing a lot of nobody really new in there. 14 comes out at first. 14 Vanilla 14 is a fucking train wreck. Whole game has to be remade from the ground up
right
after release. And then 15 takes 10 fucking years to come out. And they had to marketing blitzkrieg that game, you know, to get the sales in.
And something that with all of these games, the hardcore fan base is aging out.
They're aging out. Right. Because say you were a teen in 97. How the fuck old are you now? You're in your 40s.
Right. And you presumably you have kids, you have a career, there's a lot of reasons why you might not pay attention to
you have a boring, shitty life now. That keeps you very preoccupied. You don't have time to jump into a giant RPG anymore.
And again, Spirits Within came out and you were just like, God, fuck all.
You like this shit?
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what would you say is the prestige RPG today? Not even JRPG, but like the prestige RPG.
Witcher.
You think so? You think Witcher is
I think Witcher 3.
And they just burned all that goodwill? They did.
And honestly, I'm going to be real with you, Andrew. I think Skyrim is kind of that in a way. Skyrim's kind of like the Minecraft of RPGs because nobody likes Skyrim as it is. Everyone just likes how much it can be modified, right? As far as like, and I would have said, you come back to me a few years back, I would have said Mass Effect. Maybe even
Andromeda fucked that up. Mass Effect
fucked that. Yeah. It did. But like that's why I say if you come at me X number of years ago, I probably might have said Mass Effect, honestly. Until
I
that
can
got
see Mass Effect, yeah.
Dragon Age, kind of the same boat. BioWare really fucking took a tumble.
Well, they had a rough few years there.
BioWare's had a rough decade almost.
Yeah. Because the reason I bring that up is I think the reason Final Fantasy is on 16 is because they changed characters every single time. They never tried to like keep that going.
Right.
Like at best you get 3 games out of the same characters, in my opinion, and then it starts to get a little bit tired. And I think Assassin's Creed tried to do the best of both worlds, right? It's a new cast of characters every single time, except for the one through line character, which I think they've now switched that up too. But, but look at even Assassin's Creed's had drop-offs too, I'm not sure if the worry about these pre-orders is the exclusivity. What's the point of pre-ordering nowadays when digital copies are
that's another thing, and that is, I think that's actually a decent counter argument people have had, where it's like people don't pre-order as much as they used to.
Like, they just
it's true. Like the pre-order culture doesn't exist of like, I'm going to give you a statue, I'm going to give you a batarang, I'm going to give you a helmet for your cat, like
right. What do you I'm going to give you a Spartan suit of armor, or it's just the helmet, but whatever, you get the point. I think having 16 in the name is more of a hit than people want to admit.
You really think so? You really think?
I do. Because here's the thing: from everything we've seen of Final Fantasy 16, it looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Like I am legitimately for the first time in quite a long time excited to play a Final Fantasy game.
Oh, you'll enjoy this more than you've enjoyed. I've played 6 to 8 hours of it. I can say that now. You will like this more than you have liked any Final Fantasy, Andrew.
Okay, then yeah. See, I like
Guarantee it.
it.
You will like the writing, you will like the characters, the dialogue, because it was written in English.
Oh, that's
Like
cool.
as it went along. They had people, they had writers and directors and voice actors in doing it all in English at the ground level of pre-production.
I mean, that's fantastic.
It
That's really
so
cool.
the dialogue is way more natural than you've ever seen in a Final Fantasy game. There's a lot of F-bombs.
Which is why you love it. Look,
But like
the word "fuck" is very it's useful.
yeah, they said
Utilitarian.
straight up. They told people watch the first few seasons of Game of Thrones. This is what we're going for. So
Okay.
it's because like 7 Remake I felt was like a really well done localization, but like this doesn't have any anime grunting.
Really?
It's just no. This is the most like this feels like the most natural English dialogue I've ever seen in a Final Fantasy. Like,
So the thing is like I'm pretty jazzed for this one for the first time in a
yeah,
long time. I think the problem comes in is that like the average person who doesn't give a fuck, right? The person who's like, they see 16 and think they have to have played all the other 15
yeah.
for 16 to matter to them.
And it's funny because they said that in some of the trailers. Like you know, even though it's called Final 16, this is not kind of have no.
Right.
You don't need to have played any other games. It's a brand new story, and I'm like, who the fuck doesn't know this now? But there's plenty of people who don't know this.
A lot of people. But then also you see 16 and you're just like, like you just don't want to hop in to the 16th installment of a game.
Yeah,
It can seem tired. Granted, uh, you know, if you're playing games, I have a hard time believing that you don't watch at least some streaming or some YouTube
or you've heard of
around.
something.
Right. So you've probably heard that this is, fresh and great. Like
Yeah,
you've probably heard that. But I do think that like pre-orders are usually done um out of an abundance of enthusiasm. And when you're on the 16th installment of a game series, I don't know that you have that type of raw enthusiasm anymore.
yeah. You know what I think another thing is, to be honest, PS5 is not a new console. PS5 has been out for almost 3 years. It's barely justified its reason for existing at all.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's not like when you have something like Final Fantasy X, which comes out a year after the system's been out, it's new.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, and it's a graphical showpiece. So it's like, wow, it's a big RPG that's highly cinematic and has the better graphics than any other game on this brand new system. It's like it's sort of like feeds into this is why I gotta buy new. I gotta buy a new system for this.
Right.
This point, it's like, have you bought a PS5 yet? Like, have you found one? Did you buy one? Like, they're not supply constrained anymore, and
It
like
doesn't have the hype anymore.
it's not like
Yeah.
it's like it's not 16 is just not a game, and it never 16 never looked good graphic. Like the people making the game were kind of like, like we've done the whole arms race thing. Let's just make a good game this time.
And the thing is it's not that it looks bad.
It doesn't.
It
It
doesn't look
looks
bad.
it bounces a little bit between looking like phenomenal and flat. In the game versions that I played, it was like, this looks amazing, this looks really flat, and it looks amazing again, and a little flat again. That's just from the versions I filled with, which were various different development builds. But I mean, it's not going to give you that holy fucking shit like moment that say like
Right.
something like even Horizon and Ghost, which maybe are bad examples because came out so late in the PS4's life, but um I can't think of a PS4 game that came out early in the PS4's life that was graphically and amazing. I think Witcher 3 maybe was one of the first big graphical showpieces. Again, I go back to Witcher 3 and I don't even really like the game that much, but it was a graphical showstopper. It was somewhat early enough in the PS4's life to really, be like, "Oh, this is why you buy a next gen system," right?
Mhm.
Like it kind of has to hit that sort of perfect storm in timing, and that's why that series is so beloved and is probably like so premier at this point. Like being early in a console's lifespan can be very, very beneficial to a lot of these smaller genres and subgenres. So I think Final Fantasy 16 being so late to the PS5's life, maybe that's another reason you're just not seeing people like fucking like jumping at chomping at the bit to pre-order it.
Yeah, right. If it was a launch title, right? I mean, it would have had that secondary benefit of like everybody when trying to get this game
Yeah.
to be their like PS5 launch point. Um, I think that that opens up the possibility of talking about things that expectations of the PS5 of that next generation, right? Where
Mhm.
we talked about at the end of last generation, what were the things that were going to be the most impressive? Dynamic weather, dynamic character change, that kind of stuff. Which we haven't really seen the PS5 doing a whole lot of, at least not more so than what the PS4 was already doing. And
Yeah.
and Final Fantasy 16 isn't doing that either. It's not trying to. It isn't even trying to sell you
Yeah.
on that or anything. But I think it's just another, you know, I think they're contending with one exclusivity. They're contending
Yeah.
with they're late. They're kind of late in the series. Like, how many
I,
are
th-
you
I
going to be excited about Final Fantasy 20?
I'll be fine. I'll be excited about Final Fantasy 30 because I want to know what they're going to do with the Roman numerals.
Fair. But there's got to be other games that were hurt by exclusivity as an example. Final Fantasy 16, I don't think it's going to be hurt that much.
I think it'll sell fine in the long run, but here's the other thing: a lot of
Yeah.
people are like brought up, which is a good point. Like Square has unrealistic expectations of their products. Like when Tomb Raider reboot didn't sell 10 million copies in 1 month, they were disappointed. It's like,
Yeah.
why the fuck would you have? Why would you expect something that insane? Like that's ridiculous. I think there's another thing too here, and that's they've themselves have conditioned people. Like there's gonna be a PC version.
Hmm.
If you have a decent PC rig, there's gonna be a PC version. There's a
Oh, yeah.
there's PC versions of 10, of I believe of Zodiac Age. 11 and 14 are obviously PC only. 13, I think, is on PC. All the whole trilogy of shit that is. 15 is on PC. Royal Edition's on PC. Like they flat out said that they're not making it. They will start a PC version once this one's released, but it's like because the initial trailer said PS5 PC, and then Sony tried to backpedal hard and say no, it's exclusive, it's exclusive. Cat was a little bit out of
Right.
the bag, but it's also like, look, even fucking Persona's on PC now. So
And you're going to get a more complete version on PC probably than the version you're going to get right away on Sony.
Here's the funny thing: last generation, a lot of like Japanese developers fucking discovered there's a lot of fucking RPG people on PC. Now, I think the idea before was just kind of like, oh, they play Western RPGs.
Mhm.
They're not going to be interested in our Japanese style or our anime looking RPGs. And I'm like, or you could release it on there and fucking find out.
Right.
And so people started to do that, and I couldn't even tell you what might have been the first one to do that, probably between Namco or Sega, but like the floodgates started to get open where it was like, okay, this did well. Wait, this did really well. So then Tales of games started getting put on PC. Final Fantasy went on PC. Yakuza started getting put on PC.
Well, and that's the thing is like the Tales of games. When you think of competitor to Final Fantasy in terms of like popularity of continuous series, the Tales of games are also ones that do different casts of characters each time
Yep.
and continue on. But I don't think Tales of games tries to necessarily put itself as like a prestige title. They just
No, they're just kind of like, look, we make an anime actiony RPG.
right. It's going to be fun, and that's all they really.
It's straight at the McDonald's of RPGs, but
It kind of yes, yeah, kind of,
or
yeah.
or maybe the Yoshinoya if you want to get more region specific.
Yeah.
I don't know because like can you think of any fast food chains that are from Japan that are in America?
KFC.
No, that's reverse. Where it was huge here and then it's big there.
Yeah, but they own it now. They love it.
they basically do own it.
Culture, and it's way better in Japan. Apparently, like it's just way better quality in Japan.
Way better
really?
is a stretch. I went to a KFC. I went to a KFC in Akihabara because this is what I'd heard, right? And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, it's definitely better than ours, but it's not that much better. It's like
Just wait till they get a Cane's or a Popeyes. Then all of a sudden KFC's gonna tank there too.
Good. But yeah, like the KFCs are better in Japan, but they're not going to be better than like like a good Cane's or something. So
fair enough.
But either way, yeah, it's a fast food. It's a fast food version of an RPG franchise. Like, well, they kind of used to be because they don't actually come out that fast anymore. Tales games used to come out like all the time.
Yeah. They used to come out all the time.
They used to like pump them out. But my point kind of being that Tales of the Trails of Cold, whatever the Trails series, Final Fantasy.
Bless you.
All of these franchises are on PC now because they sort of discovered that like, yeah, PC people they'll put it on Steam, and even if you're more conditioned, to your smoldering with generic rage Western RPGs.
Yeah. Generic rage is the best description of Western RPG characters.
You just put it on there, then a Steam sale comes along, and you know what they do? They go like, I'll try it.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was to me, it feels like such a like obvious thing in hindsight. Like here, we probably been like, yeah, of course not. But like, it just hit them suddenly like, yeah, you just put it on there, see what happens.
I would also argue that generation that aged out of giving a shit about every release of Final Fantasy, mostly just aged out of giving a shit about consoles because their kids are who dominate the console. They don't get to be on the console very much. But what do they do get to be on?
The PC,
the $2,000 gaming PC they built because they still got love. They just don't have time.
Yeah.
And that would make sense to me that, they'd also snag up, for nostalgia purposes.
And to swing it all, back for because it's me, I have to bring it up every time. I've said this for months, if not years now. I'm like the biggest detriment to the sales of, say, we'll make it both Fire Emblem and Xenoblade. I say is they don't have PC versions.
No, I think that's
I think if both of those franchises got ported to PC, huge sales increase.
Fire Emblem, definitely. I definitely think Fire Emblem sells well on PC if it ever comes.
It would. I think that was like a natural given. And I think because of Tales and Final Fantasy, and other like even Yakuza and the Trails of series from the guys who made Ys, the Ys developers, Ys 8 and whatever. They're on PC and they've actually found success on PC. I'm like, Xenoblade would find a huge audience on PC. Because I think this
is another one of those games that is it's not a prestige game necessarily, but it's a good time pretty much every time. You grab it, you're gonna have a good time. It's another KFC game.
No, that one's like a Del Taco value menu game because they don't put any money in it, but goddamn, is it still delicious?
Yeah, they it's never an expense. There's nothing flashy about those games. You're never gonna have a bad time picking up an Ys game.
it just hits the spot.
It's I put it at like afternoon cartoons. Like you come home from school and you drop down and stuff, and like, yeah, there's a reason why all those cartoons have the same shot. Every reaction shot's the same shot for the entire. They're cutting corners, but you're gonna have a good time, all right? 6th grade is stressful. It's time to pop down. Just enjoy a little bit of white bread cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I will die on this hill that like Xenoblade would double, if not more than double, its sales on PC. Because I think there's a lot of PC gamers who play RPGs have kind of been introduced and addicted to JRPGs because of these Steam sales. And they see it and they go, that looks pretty cool. Are they going to play it? No. Why? Because I don't want to buy a whole fucking Switch for, an RPG. for a couple RPGs. I'll just emulate it.
I'm trying to think of like what's another big one, big third party prestige title gets timed exclusivity that was probably hurt.
It's probably hurt.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy 16, it looks like I think it's going to be a minor amount of hurt, but it looks like it's going to be hurt by being exclusive.
Yeah, at the point at the end of the day, is like with the rising cost of game development and everything being there, like Sony has to be. I mean, if they're not paying you a shit ton of money, what's the point, kind of thing.
Right.
Resident Evil was a good example where they went exclusive to the GameCube, and it did not do anything good for the sales.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to talk about like truly what was bad what was a bad exclusive, it was Resident Evil 1 remake and Resident Evil 0 originally. When they pulled the Resident Evil series off of PlayStation, went to GameCube, it did not live up to the best-selling games of that series at all. It didn't even come close.
There was also the problem that GameCube had a very like family fun, family friendly.
Yeah, Nintendo kind of fucked them a little bit as well with the presentation of their system and how they kept promoting it and selling it and advertising it.
Yeah, whereas like PlayStation was for adults,
Quote
for the
unquote,
big
yeah.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I definitely think that that's probably a good example. Although 4 didn't get hurt too much by the timed exclusive because it was on GameCube first for a while before it was on PS2.
about 8 months, 9 months.
Right. 4 didn't get hurt. More
Not
that
too
was
bad,
like
but it still sold more on the PS2 on this gimped shitty PS2 version.
That's true. And then it sold again on Wii U.
Then
I don't know.
Again on the Wii, yeah. So.
RE4 is kind of not fair to compare anything to it because it's silly.
But Resident Evil 1 remake absolutely
Definitely.
is, where they went exclusive and it did not help the series at all.
Well, I think that's something that Capcom learned the hard way, just generally being a third party. One, I'm sort of surprised that Capcom hasn't been bought by someone yet. And I bet they've gotten...
During the dark days of Capcom a little bit back, it's real shocking. It's real shocking they didn't get just like scooped up.
I have a feeling they've had lots and lots of offers, and now they're, because they're having a resurgence. I mean, we're living in a Capcom renaissance, basically.
Yeah.
Now they're like, it's all gone to their heads. But the fact that they didn't get sold to somebody.
Yeah.
There was a while where I thought like Xbox, like in the 360 era, I thought that was going to be who they decided to buy in their search for like a Japanese developer.
Would have been a good call in hindsight, but
probably.
Here's another good example was Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur 2. Because 1 was everyone loved 1, but it was on the Dreamcast, so sales were limited, right? 2 comes out. It has Link and Spawn and Ayashi. It has console exclusive care. It's on all 3 consoles: PS2, Xbox, GameCube, right? Soul Calibur 2 comes out, sells a ton, right?
Oh, yeah.
What do they follow that up with? Soul Calibur 3 on PS2 only,
which no one ever remembers.
That did not do anything good for the franchise by not releasing the follow-up game on, like, dropping 2 whole other consoles for it. That was not a smart move in hindsight at all. It hurt and definitely did not sell as well as 2. Didn't push the franchise forward. 4 came back being multi-platform again with Star Wars.
Right.
And then 5, which was not exclusive either. So they've never been exclusive again, but like for some fucking reason, Soul Calibur 3 was exclusive to PS2. Granted, it was the PS2 best-selling console of all time, but they lost sales by going exclusive, even for the clear console champion. It was still a bad call.
I mean, even now that we have less and less third-party studios and less prestige third-party studios, that's something that, like, there is a different class. You're for every Capcom and Square Enix, there's probably, I don't know, half a dozen third-party studios that are good, but aren't necessarily like household names, right?
Right.
Like most gamers, I would say, know who Capcom is. Most gamers know who Square Enix is, or at least know one of their major properties. But like, you know, there's other like Platinum is well known, but like I didn't know who Platinum was until we started like really talking about
Right.
it all the
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they do a good job. They have, you know, they do a yeah, I mean, you would argue even that they have some of the best work, period. Monolith Soft has some of the best work, period, but they're not like household names.
Yeah. No one knows who the fuck that is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I do wonder though. Monolith Soft and like Platinum have both done exclusive games, but they don't publish. So
Right.
they'll fucking
Platinum's been trying to get into the publishing game, but not really had any luck. You know, they did some mobile stuff and they did like some like basically like indie style, like download only stuff.
because getting into the publishing game has a shitload of risk. Once you're established in the publishing game, all the power is yours. But like getting started as a publisher, shitloads of upfront
Yeah,
costs.
and
Yeah.
it's what they've wanted to be that. They said they wanted to be that for a while, but it's like they keep getting set back, and I'm like because yeah, it's tough. You gotta be very successful, and like all they're not really getting capital off of a game selling well or not selling well. They're just getting whatever they're getting the money to make the game, and that's kind of it.
Right.
You know, like Konami probably doesn't give them residuals for every PC version of Rising that keeps selling.
I think one thing that is good here is that because of digital, publishing now, it's probably easier for them to try and publish a title, easier than it's ever been to get into the publishing game. But I also think nobody wants them to, right? You know, all the platforms, like except maybe
Yeah.
Steam. Maybe Steam would not care, but like all the other platforms are incentivized to try and keep Platinum and other developers from entering the publishing game. And also, if Platinum was like, "Oh look, we have our own store," go fuck yourself. I'm immediately out. I'm done. I'm done. I've got the stores that I use. That's actually an interesting thing. Is like there's very few Steam exclusives, except for what Valve itself makes, right?
Well, unless you're talking like an indie game.
Right there.
I mean, there's a lot of Steam exclusives if you count like these one-man band titles that someone makes and throws up.
Right, but they're exclusive by the nature of that's the only place that'll sell them, not by
right.
Yeah, like if all of a sudden EA and Steam made a deal for Jedi Survivor to be an exclusive or whatever to Steam, like that kind of thing. Steam doesn't do that shit because they don't care.
Epic Game Store does it all the time.
All the time. And it does it ever work out for them? I don't know.
It hasn't yet.
It's been mostly a bad idea.
Yeah, like right now, Steam exclusives are like Half-Life Alyx, and I guess generally speaking, anything
stuff they themselves make.
Right, they themselves published 10,000 years ago, and they used to make video games.
Yeah. Well, I do think that's a way to cap the episode as we get into the final minutes. Is like, is there an argument at all? Is there an argument in favor of exclusivity for any?
No, there isn't, because here's the thing: if you're a third-party game, you're only being exclusive because someone paid you a bunch of money. If you want a game to be exclusive, and that's third party, I think that kind of makes you a bit of a weird dick. I think you're just kind of generally an asshole. I don't want this game to be on other consoles. I don't want other people to enjoy it. They have to buy the console I chose to buy because they have to justify my purchase of my money by following along with what I like and what I chose.
I do think guaranteed money, though, because they're doing calculations of what they think they'd make if they dropped it elsewhere too.
You'd think, or maybe it's more of a blackmail kind of situation where it's just kind of like, I want this to be exclusive. I'm going to give you this much money for it, but that's not going to cover. You want to keep working with us? You're going to take them.
Could be a thing.
You're going to take the money. Like we're not going to fuck you out of the money. We're going to give you some money for it, but like you want to keep having exclusivity, right? Mm-hmm.
Well, I wonder if Sony feels like they can do that because Square Enix is a Japanese company and Sony is a Japanese company, even though it's
Right.
basically based in what, LA
Because
now.
did Microsoft really get outbid? Because that's something like Yoshi P's even sort of said, like whoever offers, oh, well, if someone gives us the best deal, we'll take it. And I'm like, did Microsoft really lose a bidding war to fucking Sony? I don't think so.
Unless
Because
Microsoft
if
was
there
like,
were
we don't
if
sell those games.
if there was an actual honest to God, like Microsoft's like, we want an exclusive, we want 16 to be exclusive to Xbox, and so he's like, well, we want it to be exclusive, and then they start going into a bidding war. Microsoft's going to get outspent? No, they're fucking not. No, they're not. You might think this sounds conspiratorial or whatever, but like, there's no fucking way if there's an actual honest to God bidding war over exclusivity rights that Microsoft would lose out to Sony if they could, if it was just money. If it was just money on the line, it was Microsoft going to let Sony outbid them for Final Fantasy? Fuck no. It's because nepotism and literal xenophobia that they grifted that money into their favor. Of course it is. You'd have to be. I mean,
You'd have to
you,
be,
you
I guess, optimistic
you'd have to
at
be
best.
pretty naive to think that, well, Sony just offered more money than them. Like that was it. If it's based purely on money, you don't think the deep, and thing is, like, I've talked to people who, we could even have him on the show, Muffin Man, who worked for Sony for many years, and he can tell you, trust me, those Japanese business relation ties run deep,
Deep.
very
I mean,
deep.
I can see that. Yeah.
They would absolutely take a lower bid for Sony because they have a working business relationship with them.
Hmm. Yeah, I would like to believe otherwise, but I do think you're right in that sense. I would also, uh, there's not really. I can't think of an exclusivity deal done with, say, a Western third party, uh, where that result is the same. Like most of those exclusivity deals done with Western parties, it's very clearly in their favor to do
I
it.
I can tell you where an exclusivity didn't go well for a Western thing, and
Where?
that's Abe's Munch's Odyssey,
Oh,
where
well,
we had Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus kind of like blow up on PlayStation, and then they made an exclusivity deal for Munch's Odyssey on Xbox launch, and that series has still had a hard time recovering,
well,
even though Stranger's Wrath was the best Oddworld game.
I think that that's more to do with, like, if it would have been an exclusivity deal for like 360, right? But it was for original Xbox. Wasn't that an original Xbox?
It was original Xbox launch game.
Yeah. Oh, that's your problem right there.
And you were playing as a fish mutant in a wheelchair. I mean, I can kind of see why it didn't really
Didn't transfer over.
blow up on the sales charts, but that was a big Western get at the time from Microsoft that didn't pan out for
Has there
either
ever
for
been
anyone.
an exclusive Assassin's Creed? I can't think of one
Yes,
off the top of my head.
technically, it's not. But the better question, Andrew, is: was there ever an Assassin's Creed that was exclusive that stayed exclusive? Which is no,
Right.
because they had the Vita Assassin's Creed exclusive. It's not exclusive anymore. It's not exclusive anymore, though.
Yeah, because the Vita's fucking dead.
Yeah, Vita's dead. Ubisoft needed to get some money back for that. There was there was a Vita exclusive Uncharted, a Vita exclusive Killzone. Some of them are still Vita exclusive, like Uncharted Golden Abyss or whatever the fuck it was called.
Weren't all the Uncharted games Sony exclusives though?
True. Yeah, I did just kind of rattle off 3 first party things. Yeah, I mean there were some. I mean, if it was a Vita exclusive, it was either a Sony game or it was a really fucking cheaply made lewd anime game.
In a world where you have a ton of first party developers for your console, why do you even bother paying third parties for exclusivity? Like, what's the calculus for Sony? Like, Yeah, okay, it denies this good game on Xbox, but like it can't be that
Which,
monetarily valuable to them to do so.
well, for one, it gives Jim Ryan a big fucking boner, probably.
That's true. He likes screwing over Microsoft specifically.
I think the other thing is that they probably calculate if I give them $30 million every 4 years for a big exclusive, that beats out me having to pay X amount of billions to buy the company outright. That's the thought process, is that Sony's like, rather than spending multiple billions per publisher, we could just keep grifting the tens of million in the tens of millions of dollars for exclusives. Like we'll just buy out exclusives in the tens of $1 million range rather than having to spend billions and billions of dollars otherwise. That's
I
the
can see that.
way that's my guess. That's my guess there.
And
But
they're still denying their competitors.
yeah, which to me it's kind of like stupid almost at this point where they're like, we have to buy this exclusivity. I'm like, if you're gonna get 60% or more of the sales of Final Fantasy 16, why did you need to pay for exclusivity at all?
Right. Right.
Like,
Yeah. I guess it has to be entirely a petty
like
denial.
if you're gonna get the lion's share of the sales anyways, and most of like, because again, if you look at 7 remake versus 15, the lion's share of the sales were from even on 15 were probably on PlayStation. So it was like you didn't need to spend any money for exclusivity whatsoever. You're still gonna sell 5 million copies
Right.
either way. And then another 5 million gets split between PC and Xbox, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
It's like
that's
Jim Ryan is that one asshole in the yearbook. It's not enough that I should win, others should fail.
that guy always becomes some like, I don't know, like position of authority. Like it's always that guy that like he becomes the local cop if it's a small town. He becomes like a PE teacher. Like
Right.
he always becomes something where he can like throw his dick around.
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
Ryan was all like, I'm gonna become a CEO. I'm just gonna deny all my comp. I'm gonna win at all costs.
Someone told him he looked like the bad guy from MacGyver, and he's never forgotten it. So he's just gonna be the bad guy forever.
He does sort of though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He looks like the arch nemesis from fucking MacGyver.
That's kind of amazing. Any final thoughts on exclusivity? Has there ever been a game helped by exclusivity?
Bayonetta, because it just wouldn't exist otherwise.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
That
The
wasn't
games
like
that wouldn't exist.
it wasn't a popularity thing, like a big money making venture for Bayonetta. Nintendo made Bayonetta 2 because Nintendo wanted to diversify their portfolio, and the project was fucking dead otherwise. Like it was not going to be made. So they're like, well, we'll make it. Why? Like, is it going to sell? Well, I don't care. Would you just want to? So there's the positive of an exclusivity is when someone is just like, look, they're not going to make the game anyways. So I'm going to fund it myself.
And Nintendo is the king of that.
Right. So that's where it works.
Right.
Square was always going to make Final Fantasy 16. That was always going to happen. They were always going to make that. Sony's the one who came in and said, no one else gets, like, here's $5. I'll give you $5 if you go play with me and nobody else. You're my friend for the day. You can't play with anyone else.
Sony has to rename themselves Chauncey.
Chauncey. To rename themselves Xerox.
On that note, we have some patrons to thank. If you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames podcast. Dude of the week was Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. And our producers for this episode are Mutton Chops Johnson, the Pink Hammer, the Schmidt One, Screwnomi, Kroy35, Hyper Viper 89, and Ziggy Z. Thank you, dudes. And we will catch you next time.
Later, dudes.